Hello and welcome to a very cool episode of Lost in Minecraft. We'll be dabbing around with some wintry bits at the moment. First of all, there is a new update to the game and I will be addressing some of the bits and pieces to do with that in a later episode. But for now, on we crack. So I've started a creative world to demonstrate this, and I've selected a nice snowy thematic biome. Now, first of all, we are going to be building a snowman igloo base. So as you can see, I'm using snow blocks here, and I am building out a 13 by 13 square. Now that is complete. In the middle of one of the sides, which will be the 7th block in when you count from the corner, I'm going to place a glass pane. It'll create one of the windows for it, and there'll be one on the opposite side. There we go, and just build up a snow block on either side, just fills out the window so you can see it nicely. There we go. And then to get the sort of rounded shape of the snowman, I'm just taking out the angular square corners and rounding it off slightly. This is easily done by just adding a couple of little 2x1 units of snow blocks around and taking out the corners, as you can see. Front door somewhere around here. We should pop it there. I'm going to use a nice spruce door. Yeah, it's a nice dark wood, very contrasting with the snow. As you can see, it's in place. And I've built everything up by another block. In the corner there, we shall catch up with that. There's our second window. There's our final corner going in. The great thing with this build is, again, like so many others, you can put your own spin on things, your own sort of tastes. You could modify it to things other than a snowman, even just a nice little igloo when we reach the halfway stage, as you will see. If you want to build this in somewhere where you don't have as much access to snow blocks, things like white wool could be useful, sort of diorite even, or probably even better it would be white concrete. Because things like the white wool can potentially catch on fire in a storm. But using some of those ideas, you can in fact just build a snowman igloo on the beach, and why not? So now we're building up the next layer and we're sort of bringing it in, sort of closing off the roof slightly so it's all coming in by a block. The blocks that we've got on the outside, we can add extra blocks on top, just adds a bit of detail. It'll all come together in the end and you'll see what I mean. So this will form the sort of dome of the snowman's body. It's not the quickest of builds, this one, but I do like the final effect, which I'm sure you will agree. Now just adding a further layer on top. Get a bit of height onto our snowman. Whilst it does look all quite angular and things at the moment, you will notice, like here, I'll take out the occasional block just Try to help with rounding things off, improve the overall look and feel of it. It's very much a work in progress throughout. The best bit is, every time you build one, it'll look slightly different, just like a real snowman. So I'm just going to find the centre point of our base, so based on the 13 by 13 square we laid out first of all. That's the centre point on one axis, and counting up on the other axis, there we go. That will be our centre point, so I'm just going to dig in a snow column so we can see where we're at. So we've got several blocks above the top of what we've got at the moment, and we're filling it out to make a 5 by 5 platform. And whilst building something like this in creative is definitely a lot easier, being able to have unlimited blocks and being able to zip around and fly about, there is absolutely no reason whatsoever why things like this cannot be built in survival. As long as you can find places to give you the blocks that you need. You can use scaffolding to get yourself up and down, or just, as you've seen with a lot of my builds, I just use little dirt mounds and dirt staircases and then take them all down when I'm done. Now just building out and down from that little platform. We've taken the middle out of it as well. We'll put a little skylight in later on. You can still see building up. And in a biome like this, where you see along the edges where you can see the dirt and the grass from where we took out the blocks, do not worry too much about them. This biome has a habit of snowing, and when it does, it'll cover up all the bits and pieces like that. Go. That is the main bulk of our building done. Just trying to work out the best way to smooth off some of these sharp corners. I think the best way to do it will be from the inside, so we can take out some of these big corners, build them back on the inside, so we get a nice smooth look on the outside, a nice little dome on the inside. There we go. Very tall igloo. Now our skylight section, so we're just building on the inside, and then we'll just stick some panes of glass in. And then at this point, if you just wanted an igloo base, it'll be a perfect point to finish. But we want more. We're building a snowman. Please leave me alone, Disney. So this is going to be his neck. Just fill in these little gaps, smooth it all out again. And what does every snowman need? A nice colourful scarf. So we use wool blocks for this. The lime green wool is quite shocking. I'm glad we do not use CRT monitors anymore, because this would be buzzing. So red wool to fill in these stripes. And you can either leave it like this, or we'll have it trailing down his shoulder. I can find the front door. That is one advantage of having a trail down the front. It will in fact help you identify where your front door is from a distance. As you can see, calculations and adjustments are always being made. Doing things like this where they're more organic shapes do require a lot more flexibility. And there we have his scarf. Onto his head. Unfortunately, we can't just get a snowball and push it down a hill, so we're going to have to build this out ourselves. Just building out one block up and out from the scarf, keeping the corners out to give it that sort of rounded look and feel. Just take that one out, and then we'll build this up by 3 blocks. Now we're not going to do anything with the interior of the snowman head, but if you decide to build this, there's no reason whatsoever why you can't put sort of ladders or something on the inside up to the top and use it as a separate room. Now we don't have giant carrots in Minecraft, so we're going to use a pumpkin for his nose and some polished black stone buttons for his coal eyes, mouth and buttons. As you can see, he's really coming along nicely now. Now he needs his hat. So we're going to use some polished black stone slabs to make the rim. Now from his head, run some slabs along the edges, and then bring it all out by one. And stick one in the corner there just to round it off. Nope, not one, that one. And using some red wool will give his hat a nice little rim. So you've put a red block along the bottom edge of the slabs, gives you a half block above, and then you can fill that out with another block on top. It's just one of those little details which I think looks quite nice. Gives the red band a different look, a different thickness to, say, the scarf and such like. As it's 1.5 blocks thick when you look at it from the outside. And then lastly some polished black stone slabs to finish off his hat. We'll do this all the way around and 3 high. just take out the corners just to give it a rounded off look. And then we shall just pop some more blocks in the middle just to finish it all off. And last but certainly not least, we shall give him his stick arms. Bring it out by 4, then you could get a good length of arm and you can put little stubby tree fingers there. I think maybe I did this one block too low, but again it's a snowman. Doesn't have to be perfect. And there we go. We have built our little snowman igloo. I'm very happy with how he's turned out. He definitely fits the bill. And on the inside you have all this lovely space to develop and build how you please. And by the magic of video editing, this is what I have done with the inside. As you've got beds and profession tables and a little fire pit in the middle you can light and cook food on. The snow has fallen and we can't get out. I need to break the block there. You can put carpet squares down just to give a nice little doormat there as well. But there we go. Now, did you know if you take 2 snow blocks and put a carved pumpkin on top, you get this little chap. Our very own wandering snowman. Little snow golem. I think with his head like that it looks a little bit more Nightmare Before Christmas, a bit more Jack Skellington, but I think he fits our theme. And he can hang out with his big bud there. Now, on to our second build. Now this one is both a bit more straightforward and a little bit more complicated. You'll understand why in a minute, as we are going to be using some redstone. I'm just trying to find a decent place to start this build. We need a bit of room for it. And we are going to be making ourselves a nice decorated tree. So first what we want is a 3x3 set of oak logs. Just clear the area around it. And we want to make this 2 high. We're going for sort of a sprucey look on this. Now we stick a redstone torch in the middle there, and that is going to be the power source for a lot of what we do later. So we're now adding another layer on top. Try to make sure you're aiming your blocks from above. Means it will stand like this, looks a little bit neater and tidy, a bit more natural and organic. Now we're going to use green concrete to fill out, to bulk out our tree. When planning this, make sure you are, hello friend, you are using the concrete, not the concrete dust. Concrete dust is a gravity block, so when you try to put it down it will just fall. If you, all you have is the concrete powder, lay it down, just add water and let it dry, and then you can mine it up. So we're doing some 3x3 squares off the trunk with 2x2 squares filling the corners. 2 layers of this. This was what I was saying earlier about this biome liking to snow, and you can see it starts to settle on everything and can be a bit of a pain. I do like the way how these spruce leaves that we're putting on the outside have a whiteness to them in the snow rather than just being normal green. So we just put these all around the edge to bulk it out, make it look a bit more treey. Oh, Golem really is going for a wander, isn't he? So from here we want to put 2 green concrete blocks up and a redstone torch on the outside of the one on top of the other redstone torch. This creates what's known as a redstone clock, and you'll see why in a moment. It's a very useful thing to be able to do, and we'll put them to great use in future episodes. Now you put down a redstone repeater with the arrow pointing towards the block with the redstone torch on it. Repeaters can be used as signal boosters and such like, they're very useful. And then we need to lay out our redstone in a pattern that takes it around the area. Now you can see there that it's flashing and flickering. That is the effect that the redstone clock has on it. Don't worry too much about the reasons why we are setting it out like this. It'll all become clear as we move on. It's confusing me slightly when the snow starts to block off the areas that we need to put our redstone down on. So that needs to come along. One more block coming to the end. And the hole we just made. And again carry it on round. As you can see, after the first sort of grid pattern we put down, the other 3 sides are all a repeated pattern. I have done this one slightly wrong there, it should come 1 block further up, but we shall fix that shortly in the video. So now we have our redstone happy and ticking away. We need to put down a special type of block called an observer. Observers, when they see something, will send a signal. So in this case, you need to make sure that they are facing the right way. They have a little face on them, a little arrow on them. The arrow points in this sort of their output direction. So his face is looking towards the redstone, and his arrow is pointing away from it. As you can see, they have little red lights on the back. That means that they are seeing something happening, such as in this case the redstone signal coming from the torches, and it is generating its own signal out the back. This is where I've worked out of. Put it the wrong way round. It needs to come 1 block further up. There we go. So I can attach 1 observer to the outside there. I shall put it around on the corners and on these little outer bits. And don't worry, after this layer goes down, the redstone becomes so much easier. At the end of the day, even you could skip putting down the observers, just build it up in layers and fill it out using the spruce leaves. You'll have a very nice looking tree doing just that. But for this one we'll go a little bit fancier. So we're going to use redstone lanterns here, attach them on the outside, and they receive the redstone signal from the observers, and they light up and start flashing. It'll be like little fairy lights on our tree. We will be looking at using some more redstone for our builds in our main world, so we shall make sure that we get a good couple of episodes in, going through some theory and practice. It's very useful stuff in the end. Just using some spruce leaves to bulk out around the observers. I've missed a light there. We shall put that in a sec. You can see it's got a funny blinking pattern, different bits going at different times. This is saying we will continue up through several more layers. Speaking of which, we need to put in another bit of trunk, so that'll go 2 blocks higher like this, and leave a gap underneath. You can't put anything on top of the redstone and the torches and things like that, so we need to build above them. Don't worry if, like here, I'm just building up from the top so that the logs are all pointing in the right direction. If you need to take out the redstone bits, just break them, put your stuff in, and replace them, and as you can see, it doesn't break the signal, doesn't break the connections. As long as everything goes back how it was, it will continue. So I put another redstone torch on top of the concrete that was underneath, so that's now going to help power our top layer here. I'm going to set out some more concrete, bringing it sort of a row in. I think initially I brought this 2 rows in by mistake, but we will bulk it out a little bit later. Realise here it probably needs to be a little bit more. Now the weather is cleared up. We've put another block of concrete on top of the redstone torch that we had in the middle there. And we're putting our redstone out in nice little T shapes. Told you it'd be so much easier this time round. You just wait till the next plane. And then we want to place observers again at the ends of the T sections. Again, all faces in, arrows out, like so. As you can see, it's picking up the signal already. Just go around, put them all down, put our lanterns on them, and then bulk it all out with spruce leaves again. You basically want to try to make it so that the concrete and the observers aren't visible. And we want to build one more row up again. Don't worry, we are nearly done with the redstone. Just trying to see if crouching in different angles will help, but it doesn't, so I should just build as normal. And once that bit is built, we have a little platform there. Bulk it out again with the green concrete. Made my little hole in the middle. But I haven't put the torch in yet. I'm just trying to calculate and work out the best way to put this concrete down for effectiveness. There you go, so it's come out 2 blocks, 1 in to fill the corners. And 1 for the middle. I still haven't put in that torch. I will eventually realise. So, just a line of 2 redstone dust for this top layer. I've realised that I still haven't quite got everything covered. There you go, some gaps and things there, so let's get those filled in. And extend the redstone out to 3. I haven't quite clicked that it's not flashing yet, which it won't do because we do not have a torch in place. I've put down the observers, and then I have realised that I did not have the torch in place. So the torch now in place. Concrete block back into place. Fix our redstone, and then lanterns and leaves. And then that is us done with the redstone. So from here, it's just filling it out with the spruce leaves, just going up, and each layer you go up, just bring it in by 1. So you'll end up with a nice cone of leaves coming up to the top. And there we go. Top layer done. Just filling out some bits where I think it's looking a bit sparse. And there we go. There is our decorated, shiny Christmas tree. Just filling in some gaps. Let's see how. Might as well have the little flashy pattern. It's very nice. And then I'm using the leaves to put on some branches. Then I'm going to use some end rods and glazed terracotta to put on some little ball looking things. Some extra decorations for our tree. Obviously if you don't have end rods, even just something like fence posts will suffice as well. It'll look perfectly good. And so there we have it, our fully decorated tree, lights flashing, our little snowman igloo base, and somewhere around here our little wandering snow golem. So thank you for joining me for a little festive detour on our usual adventures. We shall return to our regular base and building soon. In the meantime, we have a series about villager professions coming up. They're all going to be a set of shorts, so look out for those, and I hope to see you next time. Thank you and goodbye.